the world. I could feel all this death.
Everything they built will fall! And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
A fireball, lightning, asteroids, a lot of guesses as to what lit up the sky this morning, but officially we know it was a meteor. And Steve and I want to give you some perspective of what this thing actually looked like.
Yeah, so before it broke up, this was at least 10 feet in diameter from side to side. So we're going to check here, and once I finish walking, that'll be about as wide as the space is. Right about here, that's how wide this was, about the size of a car. So what causes this kind of thing? How rare is it? I sat down with Arizona's own expert, Dr. Sky. At 10 to 20 feet wide, what lit up the early morning sky was the rarest of the rare, a meteor traveling more than 40,000 miles an hour, which exploded, leaving chunks scattered for 150 miles.
This is the brightest asteroid body, asteroid/meteor, that we've seen in the last 10 years.
Thank goodness it wasn't bigger. Most shooting stars are the size of a grain of sand, but that fireball over Russia in 2013, 60 feet wide, the one which left a massive crater near Winslow, 250 feet.
With this object being supposedly maybe upwards of 20 feet, it's still a dangerous object if it was a city-bound object. So lucky for us, it's somewhere out there in the Tonto National Forest.
So what about the big one? Dr. Sky says it's not as unlikely as you might think.
We have over 1,700 of these objects that we track, and some of them get exceptionally close to the Earth.
By the way, if you find a chunk of this one, sell it. It could be worth thousands.
Allegedly. The American Meteor Society confirms that shortly before 4 this morning, this bright fireball happened. It streaked across the valley and the state. We're getting calls from all over Arizona, Payson, Show Low, Tucson, Wilcox, people saying they saw this fly through the sky. Here's new video that we just got from Jim McGarry. He captured this on his home security cameras. This is out in Goodyear. We, of course, would love to see all the angles, all the different views that you had this morning if you saw it, or if your security cameras maybe picked it up. Please keep them coming. Share them on our Facebook page, CBS 5 AZ. Carlos is in the newsroom right now with more images and comments from our viewers, because people have a lot to say about what they experienced this morning.
Yetta, you are 100% correct. This meteor is lighting up social media right now. You can see some of the contrails that are here, but also some people, we asked them for their responses, and they're hitting me up right now on my Facebook page and the CBS 5 Facebook page. We had a large explosion up here in Lakeside, said Anita Allen. Becky Ross posting pictures of the contrails. Lee Meyer hits me up on my Twitter account and says, I asked, did anybody see the meteor? He writes, yes, nothing, never seen anything like it, bright as the sun. CBS 5 on our Facebook page, we asked for your responses, and we got a bunch of them. Mahala said, I got so scared, we thought someone was in the house. So obviously, if this is a meteor, it was making noise. Julie says, heard a few booms shake our house in Stetson Valley. We can now see the trails in the sky. And then Andrew Gregory said, I thought the sun was coming up. Went outside 2 hours later and took that photo right there. You can see that Pat writes, saw the AZ meteor. And by the way, hashtag AZ meteor is now trending on Twitter. Saw the meteor and then heard the sonic booms this morning at around 4. He posted that at 5:02 a.m. Christina writes, I felt my house shake and 2 to 3 booms. My dog woke me up but didn't bark, laugh out loud. She posted that at around 4 o'clock this morning. You can see this person, Taco Lord Dre, said, I thought it was a missile, and then gets kind of cute by saying, time to change my pants, AZ Meteor hashtag. And then Val says, I can't be the only one who saw that huge meteor pass by. I thought someone was shining a flashlight in my room, and she posted that at 4:06. So you can see the timeline of when the meteor hit or allegedly came down over the skies. And one last thing I want to show real quick, if we go to my Facebook page, you can see on my Facebook page something that was just shared, if I can get to that. Heidi hit me up with this. Check out this video sent by a viewer. Is that part of the meteor? That was sent by Anthony from Australia Mountain Ranch, and he's wondering, is that part of the meteor? And you can go, if I go like here and go back, you can see This dark rock on the ground is that part of the meteor that allegedly fell at around 4 a.m. this morning. So you can see yet social media is burning up right now with this story.
Have a look at this video out of southern Russia. What do you think this guy's about to drive into? What do you think that is? Kind of looks like birds, doesn't it? Unfortunately, I've got to report to you that those are locusts. How scary is that? Yeah, I know, it's pretty gross. And it's actually kind of a big deal because these things have eaten 10% of southern Russia's entire crop. Okay, so this is like a really bad thing. 170,000 acres we're talking. I mean, they eat their own weight in food every day, and they've had to declare a state of emergency now. Some people are thinking that it's the unusually warm weather that's caused an even bigger influx than usual. I mean, they come in every year from North Africa. Some farmers, get this, they're lighting fires in an attempt to drive them away.
Whoa, check out that lightning strike. This happened in China. It actually caused this plane in Guangdong province to briefly light up in flames. This happened on the tarmac during a severe thunderstorm on Monday. Now, officials say no one was on the plane at the time and no one was hurt, thankfully. Lightning actually does strike planes more often than you might think. Experts say every commercial airliner is struck by lightning at least once a year, but they say they're built to withstand them. That's a relief.
People in Germany say there have been floods here before, but this is unlike anything they've ever experienced. Parts of the south of the country are submerged. River levels are up to bank-breaking heights. Flash floods have torn up roads and taken out storefronts.
The water came so fast, it was up to the first floor within 5 minutes. We saved ourselves by going into the attic and attached a red cloth to a broom handle and waved out of the window for people to come and get us. After about 3 hours, my grandson climbed onto the roof and the helicopter saw us.
Some towns have been declared a disaster zone. A number of people were trapped and lost their lives despite massive rescue operations. The water was as high as 1 meter in some areas. It's a similar picture in central France, with rescuers going house to house.
We're going to start an emergency support fund for the region because they're going to need help. Nemours is not a rich city. There are people living here in the city center who earn very little.
Neighbours have been helping each other out as well. This man is volunteering with emergency services.
A friend of mine just bought a kayak. We said we would try to go out on it in a few days, but we definitely didn't imagine using it in the streets.
Even iconic parts of the capital have been affected, with water in the River Seine at dangerously high levels. Weather forecasters say more rain is expected. Caroline Malone, Al Jazeera.
Some local families are struggling to figure out how to recover after floodwaters rushed through their homes.
Starflight rescued people from their rooftops along Plover Place in southeast Travis County last week. Today we learned the county floodplain administrator will recommend a study to look at flood prevention in that area. KXAN investigator Kevin Schwaller got our first look of the neighborhood. The flood tore apart.
Coming off the ground. From the air, you can tell this flooding would cause serious damage.
It's on the back.
On the ground, the destruction is forcing Lorena Lopez and her family to live in a hotel and clean out their home.
We don't know nothing. We don't know what's the next step.
With everything lost, Lorena is thankful her family survived.
It was kind of scary.
Lorena's husband, Eric Gonzalez Mendez, spoke to KXAN after a Starflight helicopter rescued him from his rooftop while Lorena waited.
Really, I don't know if he was alive or not.
The family says they had just finished fixing up the place from flooding last year. Their home rests in a floodplain. They didn't have insurance.
On October, we lost everything.
These are the things the family had to clear out of their home, and there are piles like this down Plover Place. Another neighbor says he and his family tried to leave, but they realized they were trapped. He says they were scared they might not live through the flood. They kicked a hole through the wall to climb up on the roof before a Starflight helicopter came to their rescue.
It was good for us. It was good, to save ourselves.
After surviving the flood, Lorena is now trying to weather what the water left behind.
We don't have no place to go. We need to start again.
Kevin Schwaller, KXAN, investigates.
There are hundreds of active gas leaks in western Massachusetts, and you might not even know it. 22 News reporter Alessandra Martinez is live in Springfield after finding out how many leaks there are and when the gas lines will be repaired.
Columbia Gas has taken the time to report all of these leaks to the state, but it'll take 20 years to get them all fixed. There are more than 1,200 active gas leaks in western Massachusetts. These Columbia gas lines have been deteriorating for years from age and winter weather.
I mean, I think people are frustrated because I think a lot of people didn't know that this was going on.
These gas leaks are all happening a lot closer than you think. Take a look at this map right now. You can see exactly how many gas leaks are happening within a mile from where I'm standing on Sumner Avenue. Gas leaks are categorized at 3 levels. Grade 1 leaks need to be fixed immediately. Grade 2 leaks are non-hazardous but need to be fixed within a year. Grade 3 leaks are also non-hazardous and aren't expected to become a hazard. 22 News broke down how many Grade 3 gas leaks are happening right now in your community. The numbers in parentheses show how many of them are Grade 2 leaks. Now, local advocacy groups are sharing this information to the community.
This is an issue that really hits home right for them. This is something that impacts their energy bills. This is something that impacts their public safety, their health, and the environment that they're living in.
Columbia Gas currently has a project underway to fix these leaks. It'll take 20 years to replace 42 miles of pipe at $80 million each year.
These looters that work here are experts. I mean, experts for finding scrolls. They are coming from the West Bank, from Hebron area. They go with ropes.
The majority was convincing and widely expected. Outside Germany's parliament, Armenians celebrated. More than a century since the mass killings of their forefathers by Ottoman Turks, formal recognition by German MPs that it was a genocide. Just down the road, German Chancellor Angela Merkel backed the bill but abstained from voting. She emphasised Germany's friendship with Turkey.
Germany and Turkey have so much in common. Notwithstanding differences of opinion on a particular question, the breadth of our relationship, the breadth also of our friendship and strategic alliance, is so substantial, from questions of defense to many other questions, and not least the 3 million German citizens with a Turkish background living in Germany.
Merkel helped make Ankara a linchpin in Europe's solution to the refugee crisis, but the deal isn't closed yet. Some fear this vote could derail it. Ankara says that won't happen, but Turkey has withdrawn its ambassador from Berlin.
Our first step is to call back our ambassador to Turkey for further consultations. Of course, the decision by the German parliament is a decision that will seriously impact German-Turkish relations.
Turks are divided on their country's official stance.
To be honest, the adoption of this resolution in Germany doesn't mean anything for me. It doesn't matter if they think there was a genocide or not, but I believe there was a genocide.
If you look at what Hitler did in Germany, what we did is nothing compared to that. But of course, that would be if we had committed genocide, which we didn't.
Critics have accused the Chancellor of cozying up to Erdogan because she wants help with the migrant crisis. This genocide vote creates yet another diplomatic schism at a crucial moment, not just for these two nations, but for the European Union.
The already bitter fight between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton has reached a whole new level. A day that began with Clinton blasting Trump ended with demonstrators attacking his supporters. It happened after a Trump event in San Jose. Protesters punched rally-goers, kicked their cars, and burned Trump's signature baseball caps.
During that rally, Trump hammered Clinton for calling him unprepared and unfit for the White House.
After what she said about me today in her phony speech, that was a phony speech. That was a Donald Trump hit job. I will say this, Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, okay? She has to go to jail.
Nancy Cordes is in Culver City, California with Clinton's new offensive. We'll talk about that, but we want to go first to Major Garrett in San Jose, the site of last night's Trump rally. Major, good morning.
Good morning. After Trump's rally, protesters left the designated protest area and began to pursue Trump's supporters, sometimes forming menacing groups to harass and intimidate them. At times, violent scuffles ensued, all of this becoming a part of a pattern of unrest fueled by antagonism and divisive rhetoric on both sides. Demonstrations turned violent again outside Donald Trump's evening rally. Trump supporters leaving the San Jose Convention Center were surrounded, taunted, and attacked by anti-Trump protesters, many carrying Mexican flags. Yet another example of a country divided by what these Californians view as hateful rhetoric from the presumptive GOP nominee.
Latinos for Trump, that's what I like. I love that. Latinos!
Inside the rally, Trump insisted Hispanic voters will rally around him.
We're doing well with the Latinos. Nobody knows about it yet.
But Trump gave opponents more ammunition hours earlier, telling the Wall Street Journal that an Indiana-born judge presiding over a class action suit against Trump University had, quote, an absolute conflict of interest because he was of Mexican heritage. In March, House Speaker Paul Ryan issued this warning to Trump.
This party does not prey on people's prejudices.
But on Thursday, Ryan became the latest high-profile Republican to line up behind him.
My goal is to make sure that we're unified so that we're at full strength in the fall so that we can actually win the election.
Last night, Trump again used divisive rhetoric, invoking race when recalling years-old tensions between the Clintons and President Obama.
Remember, Hillary Clinton used to hate Obama. Bill Clinton hated him. He called Bill Clinton a racist. Do you remember that?
House Speaker Paul Ryan's endorsement was long awaited, but Trump didn't even feel the need to mention it to his rally crowd last night, focusing all of his attention on Hillary Clinton. Interestingly, after Trump's rally, Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, took to Twitter to denounce the violence visited upon Trump's supporters.
In Venezuela, police have fired tear gas at protesters demonstrating near the presidential palace in the capital, Caracas, over shortages of food and medicine. Police dispersed the protesters and stopped them from pushing toward the palace. From pushing toward the palace. The economically struggling Venezuela has seen near daily protests in recent weeks over severe shortages of consumer goods. President Nicolas Maduro blames the crisis on what he calls an economic war by foes, as well as the fall in global oil prices. The opposition coalition says the crisis is the consequence of Maduro's failed policies of the past years. Meanwhile, Venezuela's electoral authorities have indefinitely postponed a meeting with Maduro's opponents on whether they can proceed with efforts to remove him in a referendum. The president has repeatedly accused his opponents of fraud in their petition for a vote on removing him from power.
Bones are all that remain of ethnic Klan members slaughtered in a vicious civil war in the 1980s. Evidence of the brutality carried out by the government regime in Somalia. Now, CNN has learned a former military commander accused of some of the worst atrocities is living in the United States and working near our nation's capital. His name is Yusuf Abdi Ali, also known as Colonel 2K. He and soldiers under his command are accused of terrorizing the Isaaq people, torturing them, burning their villages, and carrying out mass executions. In 1992, Somali locals told a Canadian documentary team what they experienced under Colonel 2K, a reign of terror.
2 men were caught, tied to a tree. Oil was poured on them, and they were burned alive.
He caught my brother. He tied him to a military vehicle and dragged him behind. That's how he died.
Did you see Toke do that with your own eyes?
Yes, and there are many people around who saw it.
He oversaw some of the most incredible violence
that you can imagine.
Kathy Roberts is an attorney for the Center for Justice and Accountability, a nonprofit dedicated to bringing war criminals to justice. She's now representing an alleged torture victim in a lawsuit against Ali in civil court.
He tortured people personally, he oversaw torture.
But now, Yusuf Abdi Ali lives in the United States, and we found him working at one of the nation's largest airports. He is a security guard at Dulles International.
Which one is that, NBC?
Our camera captured him guarding a security exit. He even started a conversation with our producer.
What's your name?
Ali.
Huh?
Ali.
Ali?
Yeah.
Oh, Ali. Oh, okay. Yusuf Ali.
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
Somalia.
A couple weeks later, we approached him as he left his apartment.
Mr. Ali, I'm Kira Phillips with CNN. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about your time in Somalia as commander of the 5th Brigade.
No comment right now, but we'll go together with my lawyer, then I will talk to you. Let me have your card.
Yes.
Card.
But to tell you the truth, all is false. It's all baseless and all false?
No comment at this time. No comment.
What about violating immigration law, Mr. Ali? And lying about your past, sir? Did you murder any innocent people in Somalia, sir? If none of it is true, then tell me that none of this is true.
We will talk with my lawyer. I told you. Goodbye.
Now, while Mr. Ali said he would talk to us, his attorney said no, insisting his client is innocent.
How dare anyone call him a war criminal? Those are just allegations. If he is indeed a war criminal, take him to The Hague. Or if he's a war criminal, take it up with the immigration authorities. My client deserves to live in the United States just as any other legal permanent resident deserves to live in the United States.
But right now, there is no criminal court in the world where Ali can be tried for war crimes because the International War Crimes Court didn't even exist during Somalia's civil war. However, the U.S. government says it's been aware of Ali for years, based upon allegations that he had been involved in human rights violations, but wouldn't answer any of CNN's detailed questions.
I think it's really hard for the average viewer to listen to this, and the fact that he is working in an airport that we all fly through on a regular basis.
It's deeply disturbing in part because that is a position of trust. He abused that authority terribly in Somalia. In my opinion, he should be in jail.
Ali ended up in the U.S. after being deported from Canada because of his past. He got a U.S. visa through his wife, a Somali woman who became a U.S. citizen. Adding to the outrage, his wife was convicted of immigration fraud for lying. She claimed she was a refugee from the same Somali clan Ali is accused of torturing.
And Ashley, as of this morning, Ali has been taken off the job because of CNN's investigation. Security guards now at Dulles are hired by a private contractor, Master Security. They said they didn't know about the accusations against Ali until CNN contacted them. And they told us, quote, due to the serious nature of the allegations, we have placed Mr. Ali on administrative leave.
So that's great, but how did he get this job from square one? I thought that security guards at airports have to undergo background checks.
Great question. Absolutely, they do. And we asked that question, Ashley. The Washington Airports Authority, which is in charge of the area's 3 airports, said that all security guards are, quote, subject to full federally mandated vetting, including a criminal background check by the FBI and a security threat assessment by the TSA. They told us, quote, we have verified that all of these processes were followed and approved in this instance. But, you know, here's a simple thing to point out. If you do a Google search, okay, Yusuf Abdi Ali's name pulls up and all the accusations are there against him in writing. And ICE is aware of him, so we're still not sure how that was missed or why he was
It's hard to
hired.
even fathom it. To have your son grow up without a dad is rough. Loved ones grieving this morning over the shooting death of UCLA engineering professor William Klug. Klug was a husband and father of two, the coach of his 10-year-old son's Little League team.
Never a negative word, always very positive. Kids loved working with him because he was such an easy coach to work with.
The professor of mechanical and aerospace engineering was inside the same building where he taught his classes Wednesday morning.
It was a normal day on campus, upwards of 25,000 students.
Shortly after 10 a.m., hundreds of police, SWAT officers, and the FBI stormed the Los Angeles campus after reports of 3 gunshots coming from one of the school's engineering facilities.
I'd suggest going back that way.
The campus on lockdown, police shutting down streets and paralyzing parts of the city.
People are crying, people are nervous, they're shaking.
Inside, terrified students scramble to hide.
I closed the door with keys and barricade the doors and turn off the lights.
Some unable to lock the classroom doors, barricading themselves in and tying cords and belts around the handles.
Our primary goal right now is to review all of our security procedures.
Security cameras capturing the SWAT team sweeping campus buildings, only to find the bodies of Professor Klug and another as yet unidentified male, a murder-suicide.
This is obviously a group of guys hanging out. But what about this? Can you still call them guys if there are women among them? These are clearly girls. But would it be right to call these girls too? In Australia, some think casual sexism and male-dominated language in the workplace is too common. Its Discrimination Council has launched a campaign with a video to highlight the issue.
Actually looking at how we...
Come on, girls. Let's get cracking.
Girls?
Work emails too were criticised for tacitly excluding female recipients. At the company that lent its office to shoot the campaign's video, the issue is taken seriously.
It's all about inclusion, and it's all about, being conscious of the language you choose to use and how the receiver might hear that.
But is all this too politically correct, particularly for a casual country like Australia?
I've never heard of anyone going into a bathroom during their workday and having a bit of a sob or a cry because someone called them a girl or a guy.
As for those on the streets of Sydney...
Hello, girls. Hi, guys. Sorry to interrupt you, girls. Guys, is that appropriate to call you guys?
I think it's appropriate.
I don't think that's appropriate to call me a guy. I believe I'm female.
Well, I don't think there's a problem, but if other people do, then I guess it is a problem.
Guys is fine.
Guys is fine. But I think, to me, it's like saying, hey, friends.
Are you girls? But you're...
I'm not. She's like, no, I'm out.
I don't know, we're females.
Well,
I feel like people might take offence at being called girls, but I don't.
Do you like being called girls?
I don't mind being called girls.
Well, we are
girls. We are girls. We're women. Same.
Yeah. Is it? Same thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just an older version of it.
Israel is ready to sign peace treaties with all neighbors, including Palestine. Moscow. Israel is ready to sign the peace treaty with its neighboring countries, including Palestine and Saudi Arabia. Israeli ambassador in Moscow has said Wednesday. We signed peace treaties with Egypt and Jordan. We are ready to sign peace treaties with all of our neighbors, including the closest neighbor to us, Palestine. We have no reasons to avoid signing the international treaty with Saudi Arabia and other states. We would be glad for that. If it's told the Roisha 24 television channel.